Have you ever wondered why some people always seem to have money, while others are always struggling, even if they earn the same? Here's a wild fact. Over 90% of the world's wealth is controlled by less than 10% of people. And no, it's not just about privilege. It's about principles. And believe it or not, those principles were written thousands of years ago on clay tablets in ancient Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason is not just a book. It's a timeless money manual disguised as a storybook. Through this audiobook, you'll gain timeless financial wisdom in a simple, story-driven format. This isn't just theory. It's a practical guide based on ancient principles that still work today. You'll discover the 7 cures for a lean purse, including how to save consistently, control spending, invest wisely, avoid risky traps, and grow your income through skill building. Each lesson is broken down with relatable examples, step-by-step actions, and real-world applications, so you can start making changes immediately, no matter your income level. You'll also hear how these strategies have been applied personally, making the advice even more relatable and credible. There are timestamps for easy navigation, rapid-fire recaps to help you retain key points, and light storytelling to keep it engaging. By the end of the video, you won't just understand how money works. You'll know exactly what to do next to take control of your financial future. And if you're wondering whether the physical copy is worth it, think of this as your free preview. Links in the description if you want to grab it on Amazon. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, where in the world are you listening from? Let's make this global. Chapter 1: The Man Who Desired Gold. Let's start with a story. The story of Bansir, a humble chariot builder in ancient Babylon. Bansir had a problem that many of us can relate to. Despite years of hard work, he found himself perpetually broke. He would dream of a life where he could enjoy the fruits of his labor, but his reality painted a different picture. One afternoon, Bansir sat on a low wall outside his house, staring gloomily at an unfinished chariot. The tools of his trade lay idle, and his thoughts drifted to the endless cycle of work and bills. A vision of a golden purse filled with coins danced in his head, but when he reached for his own, it was empty. Enter Kabi, his friend and a musician by trade. Kabi, equally broke, approached with a cheery tune on his lips. But even his optimism faded when Bansir poured out his frustrations. "I work hard every day, Kabi," he said, "yet I have nothing to show for it. Why is it that we labor so much but remain poor?" Kabi nodded knowingly, as he too had asked himself the same question. After some discussion, they realized that continuing to work harder wouldn't change their fate. "We need to learn the secrets of wealth," Kabi suggested. Together, they decided to seek advice from Arkad, the richest man in Babylon. Arkad wasn't born into wealth. He had built it from scratch. If anyone knew the path to financial success, it was him. How many of us feel like Bansir? We work long hours, pay bills, and repeat the cycle, yet financial freedom seems like a distant dream. The first step to breaking this cycle, as Bansir discovered, is acknowledging the need for change and seeking guidance. This story teaches us that it's not enough to work hard. We must also work smart. Bansir and Kabi didn't just complain about their problems. They took action to learn from someone who had succeeded. Take a moment to reflect on your own financial situation. What's holding you back? Is it spending habits, lack of savings, or fear of investing? Write it down and commit to seeking the knowledge you need to overcome it. And hey, at least Bansir didn't decide to sell his half-finished chariot as a minimalist art piece, though that might have worked in today's market. Chapter 2: The Richest Man in Babylon. Now let's talk about the man who inspired Bansir and Kabi. Arkad, the richest man in Babylon. Arkad's story is one of transformation, proving that wealth isn't just about luck. It's about learning and applying the right principles. Arkad wasn't born into wealth. In fact, he started as a poor scribe, working long hours to make ends meet. One day, he realized that while he worked harder than many, he had little to show for it. Does that sound familiar? Many of us feel like we're stuck on a treadmill, running fast, but getting nowhere. Determined to change his fate, Arkad sought advice from Algamish, a wealthy moneylender. Algamish told him the secret to wealth was simple. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. This principle might sound obvious, but how often do we actually save before spending? Most of us pay bills, buy things, and then save what's left, which is often nothing. Arkad took Algamish's advice to heart. He began saving 10% of his income, no matter how small it seemed. Over time, he invested these savings wisely, letting his money work for him. Algamish also taught him another critical lesson: to protect his investments by seeking advice from knowledgeable people. Arkad learned the hard way after losing money to a poor investment. As Arkad's wealth grew, so did his ability to help others. He became a mentor to many, sharing the lessons that transformed his life. His journey from a struggling scribe to the richest man in Babylon is proof that financial freedom is achievable for anyone willing to learn and apply these principles. What stands out in Arkad's story is his discipline. It wasn't about earning more. It was about managing what he already had. Most of us believe we'd be better off if we just earned more. But as Arkad's story shows, it's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. Start small. Commit to saving 10% of your income this month. Open a separate account for these savings and don't touch it. Over time, you'll see the power of this simple habit. And if you're thinking, 10% sounds impossible, just remember Arkad started with less than that and still made it work. If a scribe from ancient Babylon can do it, so can you. Chapter 3: 7 Cures for a Lean Purse. When Arkad's friends approached him for advice, he didn't just share his story. He gave them a step-by-step guide to financial success. This became known as the 7 Cures for a Lean Purse. Each cure is a practical principle you can apply today to start growing your wealth. It starts with saving at least 10% of your income, a simple yet powerful habit that puts you in control. Think of it as paying yourself first. Even small amounts, saved consistently, can grow into substantial wealth over time. The second cure reminds us to control our spending by recognizing the difference between wants and needs, avoiding lifestyle creep, and sticking to a smart budget. Next, learn to make your money multiply through patient and consistent investing, turning saved dollars into working assets. But it's just as important to protect your wealth by avoiding risky schemes and seeking expert advice before major financial moves. The fifth cure encourages making your home a smart investment, not just a living expense. Then, plan for your future with retirement savings, insurance, and a well-diversified portfolio to weather the unexpected. Finally, always aim to increase your earning ability. Keep learning, upskilling, and staying valuable in the marketplace. These 7 principles aren't just ancient rules from Babylon. They're practical, evergreen strategies you can start using today to secure and grow your financial future. Even applying a few can set your life on a whole new path. Chapters 1 to 3 of The Richest Man in Babylon introduce the core philosophy of wealth building through the story of Arkad, the richest man in Babylon. The book opens with 2 friends, Bansir and Kobi, who are frustrated with their financial struggles despite years of hard work. They realize that income alone doesn't lead to wealth and decide to seek advice from Arkad, a man who once lived humbly but became extraordinarily wealthy. In Chapter 2, Arkad begins to share his journey. He wasn't born rich. He earned his wealth by learning and applying timeless financial principles. The most important lesson he shares is simple. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. Arcad emphasizes saving at least 10% of your income before spending on anything else, a foundational rule for financial growth. Chapter 3 sees Arcad passing these teachings to a group of students chosen by the king to learn the 7 cures for a lean purse. He promises that anyone, regardless of background or income, can become wealthy by applying these principles consistently. These early chapters set the tone for the book, showing that wealth is built through discipline, knowledge, and the right habits. Chapter 4. Meet the Goddess of Good Luck. We all dream of a stroke of luck, don't we? Winning the lottery, stumbling upon a goldmine of opportunity. But what if I told you that luck isn't as random as we think? The Babylonians believed that luck favors those who take action. Let's dive into this idea. In Babylon, a group of men gathered to discuss why some people seem to have all the luck. Their questions were simple but universal. Why do some prosper while others struggle? Is it pure chance? Arcad joined the conversation to shed some light. Arcad explained that the goddess of good luck, as he called her, visits those who are prepared and proactive. He shared stories of missed opportunities, of men who hesitated to act on a promising venture and later regretted it. His message was clear. Luck comes to those who seize opportunities with courage and decisiveness. Imagine a friend tells you about an investment opportunity. You hesitate, thinking you'll act on it later. But when you finally decide, the opportunity is gone. Sound familiar? As Arcad said, procrastination is the killer of luck. One of Arcad's key points was that we create our own luck through preparation and effort. Whether it's applying for a job, starting a business, or investing in a new venture, luck comes to those who act. A study by Richard Wiseman, a psychologist who researched luck, found that lucky people share common traits. They're open to new experiences, they listen to their intuition, and they take calculated risks. In essence, they make their own luck. Luck isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about recognizing opportunities and acting on them. It's about being prepared when those moments arise. Ask yourself, what opportunities have you been putting off? Take one step today towards seizing them. Whether it's sending that email, making that call, or starting that project, take action now. And remember, the goddess of good luck doesn't visit those who are binge-watching TV and waiting for miracles. She visits the doers, the movers, and the shakers. What's one opportunity you've been hesitating to act on? Share it in the comments, and let's encourage each other to take that first step. Chapter 5. The 5 Laws of Gold. What if wealth came with its own instruction manual? That's exactly what the 5 Laws of Gold provide. Passed down as wisdom from ancient Babylon, these laws are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. In the story, a father shares these laws with his son, a young man who had squandered his inheritance. Determined to teach his son the secrets of lasting wealth, he laid out the principles that had guided him to prosperity. The first law emphasizes the importance of saving at least 1/10 of your income, treating it as a non-negotiable payment to your future self. This habit lays the foundation for financial security. The second law urges you to invest wisely, allowing your money to work and grow through opportunities that offer safety and steady returns. The third law warns against risky or unfamiliar ventures, reminding us that money quickly disappears when placed in hands or businesses we don't understand. The fourth law highlights the need to seek expert advice, as learning from those with experience can help you avoid expensive missteps. Finally, the fifth law cautions against greed and unrealistic promises, urging you to steer clear of anyone who offers impossibly high returns or get-rich-quick schemes. Together, these 5 laws serve as a timeless financial compass, guiding you towards smart decisions and lasting wealth. Imagine a friend tells you about an investment that promises to double your money in a month. Sounds tempting, right? But without proper research, this could lead to financial disaster. These laws remind us to think long-term and stay disciplined. The 5 laws of gold emphasize saving, investing wisely, and protecting your wealth. They're about creating a stable financial foundation and avoiding the pitfalls of greed and poor planning. Review your financial habits today. Are you saving consistently? Are you investing wisely and seeking expert advice? Start implementing these laws, one step at a time. Remember, gold doesn't like to hang out with people who act recklessly. Treat it with respect, and it'll stay loyal. Chapter 6: The Gold Lender of Babylon. Let's dive into a story that highlights one of the most practical yet overlooked principles of wealth: lending and borrowing money wisely. This is the tale of Rodan, a spear maker, and Mathon, the gold lender of Babylon. Rodan was an honest craftsman who had earned a significant sum by crafting a beautiful spear for the king. Suddenly, he found himself with a small fortune. But, as fortune often does, it attracted the attention of his sister, who asked him for a loan to help her husband start a new business venture. Uncertain about what to do, Rodan sought advice from Mathon, a trusted gold lender. Mathon was a man of experience who understood the nuances of lending money and the risks involved. Mathon's advice to Rodan wasn't just about saying yes or no to his sister. It was about understanding the nature of loans and the people involved. First, Mathon stressed the importance of knowing the borrower's character. Only lend to those who are honest and have a proven ability to repay. As he warned, gold brings regret to those who lend it unwisely. Second, Mathon advised lenders to understand the purpose of the loan. It's not enough for a borrower to have a good idea. They must also possess the skills and experience to carry it out successfully. Lastly, he highlighted the need to always seek security. For every loan he issued, Mathon ensured there was valuable collateral, be it land, goods, or assets, to protect himself in case of default. These lessons serve as timeless principles for responsible lending and safeguarding your wealth. Think of this in today's terms. Would you lend $5,000 to a friend with no stable income just because they have a great idea for a startup? Probably not. Yet many people do this and end up with financial and personal stress. Armed with Mathon's wisdom, Rodan decided not to lend his sister's husband the gold. While it was a difficult choice, he realized that protecting his hard-earned wealth was more important than succumbing to emotional pressure. How often do we lend money to friends or family without a second thought? While generosity is important, Mathon's story teaches us to balance kindness with wisdom. The next time someone asks for a loan, don't be afraid to ask questions. Why do they need it? How will they repay it? And if you're the one borrowing, think about how you can ensure you honor that trust. Remember, Mathon didn't become a successful gold lender by handing out money to anyone with a sob story. He probably would have said no to lending gold for someone's revolutionary idea to sell sand in Babylon. Have you ever lent money and regretted it? Or maybe you've borrowed and felt the pressure to repay? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to learn from each other. Chapters 4 to 6 of The Richest Man in Babylon dive deeper into the practical steps for financial transformation, focusing on the legendary 7 cures for a lean purse. Arkad, now acting as a financial teacher, shares these principles with a group of eager learners. The first cure is to start thy purse to fattening, save at least 10% of all earnings. The second cure is to control thy expenditures by distinguishing between needs and wants and living below your means. The third cure, make thy gold multiply, encourages smart investing to grow your savings over time. Chapter 5 continues with the fourth cure, guard thy treasures from loss. Arkad warns against risky ventures and urges seeking sound advice before investing. The fifth cure, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment, promotes homeownership as a step towards stability. The sixth cure stresses the need to ensure a future income through retirement planning and insurance. Finally, the seventh cure is to increase thy ability to earn by improving skills and learning continuously. These chapters reveal that building wealth isn't about quick wins, but about adopting consistent, disciplined habits. Each cure offers a clear, actionable step toward financial independence and security. Chapter 7. The Walls of Babylon. Have you ever thought about the walls that protect your life? Not the physical ones, but the financial and emotional safeguards? The walls of Babylon provide a powerful metaphor for security and preparation. In ancient Babylon, the city's massive walls stood as a testament to its strength and foresight. During times of peace, the citizens invested time and resources to build and maintain these walls. When enemies threatened, those walls were the first and strongest line of defense, keeping the people safe from harm. These walls represent more than physical barriers. They symbolize the importance of preparation, protection, and discipline in our lives. Just as Babylon's citizens didn't wait until they were under attack to build their defenses, we shouldn't wait for financial or personal crises to start creating safeguards. Think about what your walls might look like today. Do you have an emergency fund? Health and life insurance? A plan for retirement? These financial structures are the modern equivalents of Babylon's protective walls, guarding us against unforeseen events. The first key lesson is to build during times of peace. Don't wait for a crisis to start saving or planning. If you have a stable income, now is the ideal time to create an emergency fund and invest for the future. The second lesson emphasizes the importance of ongoing maintenance. Just as ancient walls needed regular upkeep to remain strong, your finances require periodic reviews, whether it's updating insurance policies, adjusting investments, or realigning your goals. The third lesson is to fortify against the unexpected. Life can throw curveballs, job loss, illness, economic shifts, and having a well-prepared emergency fund, ideally 3 to 6 months of living expenses, can help you withstand the storm. These lessons remind us that true financial security isn't built overnight. It's constructed steadily, reviewed often, and protected against the unknown. Take Sarah, a graphic designer who built an emergency fund over 3 years. When the pandemic hit and her income took a major hit, she was able to rely on her savings to cover rent and essentials without going into debt. Her foresight gave her peace of mind during a challenging time. And let's face it, it's a lot easier to sleep at night knowing your financial walls aren't held together with duct tape and wishful thinking. The walls of Babylon remind us that preparation and discipline are the keys to long-term security. By building financial safeguards, we create a strong foundation that can withstand life's challenges. Start small. If you don't have an emergency fund, aim to save $500 as a starting point. Then, work your way up to 3 months' worth of expenses. It's not about how fast you build your walls. It's about consistency. Chapter 8. The Camel Trader of Babylon. Let's talk about Tarkad, a young man whose story reveals the consequences of poor financial habits and the power of hard work and discipline. His journey starts with hunger, debt, and despair, but ends with valuable lessons learned from Dabasir, the camel trader of Babylon. Tarkad was a young man down on his luck. He had borrowed money from Dabasir and others in the city, but had failed to repay them. With no money, no food, and no prospects, he found himself wandering the streets, ashamed to face the people he owed. Hungry and desperate, Tarkad decided to visit a friend who he hoped would offer him a meal. However, instead of food, he found himself face to face with Dabasir, the camel trader, who was one of his creditors. Dabasir didn't berate Tarkad for his failures. Instead, he offered him a lesson in responsibility and perseverance. Dabasir shared his own tale of redemption. He had once been a reckless spender, accumulating debts far beyond his ability to repay. His life spiraled downward until he was sold into slavery. But even as a slave, Dabasir resolved to change his fate. Through hard work and determination, he eventually earned his freedom and returned to Babylon to repay his debts. Dabasir taught Tarkad a simple but powerful principle. A man's wealth is not in the coins he carries, but in the habits he develops. He encouraged Tarkad to create a plan to repay his debts, no matter how small the payments might be. Dabasir explained that consistency and accountability were the keys to rebuilding trust and self-respect. The story of the camel trader Dabasir in The Richest Man in Babylon offers powerful lessons on overcoming debt and reclaiming financial stability. First, Dabasir teaches us to take full responsibility for our financial mistakes. Avoiding debts or running from creditors only deepens the problem. Acknowledging them is the first step toward freedom. Second, he highlights the power of starting small. Even modest, consistent payments can gradually eliminate debt and help restore both your finances and your self-respect. Finally, Dabasir's transformation came through discipline. By making his obligations a top priority and sticking to a repayment plan, he rebuilt his life. His journey shows that with accountability, consistency, and self-control, anyone can dig themselves out of even the deepest financial hole. Think about credit card debt today. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the total amount owed, but breaking it into smaller, manageable payments can help you regain control. Like Dabasir, taking the first step is the hardest but most important part of the journey. How many of us have felt like Tarkad at some point, overwhelmed by mistakes and unsure where to start? The story of the camel trader reminds us that it's never too late to turn things around. If you're in debt, write down all the amounts you owe and to whom. Create a repayment plan that starts small but is consistent. Celebrate each milestone to keep yourself motivated. And hey, if a camel trader could bounce back from slavery and debt to become successful, surely we can handle a few overdue bills. Chapter 9. The Clay Tablets from Babylon. In this section, we explore the clay tablets of Babylon, an incredible historical account that offers timeless lessons on debt management and financial discipline. These tablets recount the story of Dabasir, a man who overcame financial ruin through sheer determination and a well-structured plan. The clay tablets were unearthed in modern-day Iraq and revealed detailed inscriptions about financial obligations and repayment plans. They serve as a testament to the wisdom of the Babylonians in managing money and debts. Dabasir, once a prosperous merchant, had fallen into a cycle of debt due to reckless spending and poor financial decisions. His debts were so severe that he was eventually sold into slavery. But even in slavery, Dabasir resolved to reclaim his life and honor. He worked tirelessly and saved whatever he could until he earned his freedom. Upon returning to Babylon, Dabasir developed a simple yet effective plan to repay his debts. He divided his income into 3 parts. The first part was for living expenses. The second part was for repaying debts. The third part was for saving and investing. Dabasir's creditors initially doubted his ability to repay them, but his consistency won their trust. Over time, he repaid every coin he owed, restoring his reputation and financial stability. His story was inscribed on the clay tablets to serve as a guide for future generations. The lessons from the ancient clay tablets in The Richest Man in Babylon offer a practical roadmap for financial recovery and long-term stability. Dabasir's plan begins with the essential principle of living below your means. By controlling expenses and avoiding unnecessary luxuries, you create room to take charge of your finances. He also prioritized debt repayment, demonstrating that integrity and accountability are crucial for rebuilding trust and financial health. Yet, even while paying off his obligations, Dabasir understood the value of saving for the future. He consistently set aside a portion of his income for unexpected needs and future opportunities. These timeless lessons show that financial discipline, responsibility, and forward planning can transform even the most difficult circumstances into a path toward prosperity. Think of the clay tablets as an ancient version of a financial planner. The principles they highlight, budgeting, debt repayment, and saving, are just as relevant today. Whether it's using budgeting apps or spreadsheets, the key is to create a plan and stick to it. Consider John, a software engineer who found himself overwhelmed by credit card debt. Inspired by Dabasir's story, he created a repayment plan where he allocated 20% of his income to debts, 10% to savings, and lived on the rest. Within 3 years, John was debt-free and had built an emergency fund. The clay tablets teach us that financial recovery is possible with a clear plan and unwavering discipline. It's not about how much you earn, but how well you manage what you have. Start by listing all your debts and creating a repayment plan that aligns with your income. Allocate a percentage for saving, no matter how small, and stick to it consistently. Chapters 7 to 9 of The Richest Man in Babylon bring the book's lessons to life through engaging stories that show how ordinary people applied Arkad's teachings to overcome debt and build wealth. Chapter 7 follows the story of Dabasir, a camel trader who once lived recklessly and fell deep into debt. After experiencing hardship, including being sold into slavery, he has a turning point and decides to rebuild his life. He learns the importance of taking responsibility for his financial mistakes, living below his means, and repaying debts with discipline. In Chapter 8, Dabasir documents his repayment strategy on clay tablets. His plan involves dividing his income, 10% for savings, 20% for repaying debts, and 70% for living expenses. This simple yet powerful structure shows how even while repaying debts, one can save for the future and maintain dignity. Chapter 9 shares the discovery of these tablets by modern archaeologists, highlighting how Dabasir's story offers timeless wisdom. His disciplined approach became a financial blueprint for others to follow. These chapters emphasize that recovery from financial ruin is possible, not through luck, but through structure, integrity, and consistency. Dabasir's journey proves that anyone can reclaim control with the right mindset and habits. Chapter 10. The Luckiest Man in Babylon. What does it mean to be the luckiest man in Babylon? Is it about chance, fate, or something more? This story reveals the true nature of luck and how preparation and opportunity come together to create success. Sharu Nada, the protagonist of this tale, wasn't born into wealth. He started as a slave, sold to a merchant in Babylon after his family's fortunes were lost. Despite his dire circumstances, Sharu Nada displayed exceptional character and determination. His story begins in hardship, but ends in prosperity, earning him the title of the luckiest man in Babylon. As a slave, Sharu Nada worked tirelessly for his master, a caravan trader. Unlike others in his position, he embraced his situation and sought to learn from every opportunity. He observed how his master conducted business, negotiated deals, and built relationships. One day, during a caravan journey, Sharu Nada's wisdom and quick thinking saved the entire caravan from disaster. Bandits attacked, and through his clever strategies, he ensured that both the goods and the traders' lives were spared. His bravery and intelligence caught the attention of his master, who rewarded him by granting him his freedom. As a free man, Sharu Nada didn't rest on his laurels. He used the skills he learned during his time as a slave to start his own trading business. He began small, trading simple goods, but reinvested his earnings wisely. Over time, he expanded his operations and became one of Babylon's most respected merchants. While many attributed his success to luck, Nada himself dismissed this notion. He believed that his luck was a combination of hard work, preparation, and seizing opportunities when they arose. He often said, "Luck is not something that happens by chance. It is earned by those who take action and persist through challenges." The story of Nada, the so-called luckiest man in The Richest Man in Babylon, reveals that luck often comes from mindset and action, not chance. First, he shows the importance of learning from every situation. Even his years as a slave taught him valuable skills that became the foundation of his future success. Second, he demonstrated the power of seizing opportunities. When danger struck his caravan, his quick and courageous decisions not only saved lives, but also altered the course of his destiny. Finally, Nada's journey emphasizes the value of wise investing. He consistently reinvested his earnings into his business, avoided risky shortcuts, and focused on steady, long-term growth. His story proves that with resilience, awareness, and smart choices, anyone can turn adversity into fortune. Think of Nada's story in today's context. Many successful entrepreneurs started with little more than determination and a willingness to learn. Whether it's Jeff Bezos starting Amazon in his garage or Oprah Winfrey overcoming adversity to build a media empire, the principles remain the same. How often do we dismiss someone's success as luck without recognizing the effort and preparation behind it? Nada's story reminds us that luck often looks like hard work and perseverance from the inside. Ask yourself, what skills can I develop today that will prepare me for future opportunities? Take one small step toward mastering a new skill or improving an existing one. And remember, luck isn't about finding a magic lamp or a genie. It's about being ready when opportunity knocks and not forgetting to answer the door. The luckiest man in Babylon wasn't lucky by chance. He created his own luck through preparation, learning, and persistence. By following his example, we can all become luckier in our own lives. To recap, here are the key lessons from The Richest Man in Babylon. Save at least 10% of your income. Control your expenses, invest wisely, protect your money, and always keep learning. Remember, wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and grow. Start today, and your future self will thank you. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more actionable tips. Share your thoughts or questions in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're planning to apply these principles.